the wicked prosper? Why do things happen to them? And why do they just cry out to God? Does God help and save them? And there's some good things that happen to them with just one simple prayer or cry to Jesus. We can put it in many different contexts, but the point is that it seems unfair of God to be doing this. Yet what the landowner or God is trying to portray this is say, hey, why can't you see that I'm good? Why can't you know that I'm a good God and give good things to the people that are here with me and that I love? Why can't you bask in the goodness? They're there for the money. That's what they're there for. And yet the landowner is trying to point to his character, and say, look, I'm a good man. Why is it that you are perceiving this evil here and this evil in your heart with this kind of stuff? He says, or is your eye evil because I am good? And this goes back to, man, what are we looking at? Are we just looking at what's wrong all the time? Because then what it says here, our eye is evil. Are we looking at who's doing us wrong all the time? Our boss is unfair. God is unfair. Are you seeing what God is doing that's good? Can you see the good that he's doing? Because if you look, well, that was pretty good what he did, isn't it? That was pretty good what he did for that last guy who didn't have a job or any place to go yet. God was good and gave his goodness to him. And yet it might not seem fair to the other person. It might not seem fair to some of us Christians that have been a Christian for a while and see these blessings happening. But how about instead of being just a worker for God, we become a worker with God? And if we become a worker with God, we can begin rejoicing in God's work, knowing that we are on the same team, knowing that when he gives to them, it's because I'm part of his body. I'm giving to him as well. This is us. Man, God, our leader, our Father, our team captain, he's the one going out reaching and loving, and we get to be part of that. Let's rejoice with him. Let's rejoice that he's reaching the Zacchaeuses, and that let's do it with him. Let's do it with God. Let's go and be that table turner. Let's turn the world upside down with God. And it will seem unfair. We talked about how favor is unfair in a good way. But God's love is also unfair. And let me remind you, God's love to you is very unfair as well. Remember, mercy triumphs over judgment. And that is unfair as well. But yet that is God's goodness. Let's rejoice in his goodness. And let's be a giver of his goodness to others. Now, I want to ask you to look at some questions here. Okay? And again, I just want to encourage you to rejoice when God does something good for your neighbor. I want to encourage you to rejoice and love to hear testimonies. Love to hear how God's a blessing. I'm coming here today with frustration upon frustration happening to me today. All right? For example, I had already preached this message. This is my second time preaching, and maybe why I'm talking a little fast, all right? Because the camera that we had just went out over and over and over again. I was trying to use it. And then so many other problems today that took place. Yet I'm here with a smile talking to you about things that are unfair and realizing that we are in God's work together. And so this serves as a reminder for me as well. I want to say goodbye to unfair, and I want to do things that go through unfair situations, and I want to go through them well as well.